Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Emin from JERMUK, and I'm here to show you guys a tutorial on a new track we have coming out called Every Week. It's going to be released probably this week or next week. I know we haven't been around for a while, but we're definitely going to start doing things way more consistently this time around. More tutorials, more music, more mixes, more top 5 tracks of the week or whatever. Yeah, top 5 tracks of the week. We're gonna upload like a Patreon type of thing where we can give out exclusive sample packs, project files, music, sound banks, things like that, just to get this thing going a little bit better than before. So for this, I'm gonna show you guys the drop of this track called Every Week. Again, released probably this week or next week, probably this week, and then I'm gonna go over how the leads were processed. Most importantly, I'm going to go over the reverb. That's the main thing I'm going to go over here. How the reverb was processed and how it was done. And that's it. So I'm just going to preview the drop, and then we'll go over the stuff.
Popping bottles every
Alright, so there you go, that's the drop. I'm just gonna go over the leads real quick and try to keep this video kind of short because I don't want to make like a 45-minute video on just leads. I'm mostly gonna go over the reverb again. So here's the leads. Here's the first one. I mean, this is just a support lead. It's just a Nexus preset. Soundbank, XP, EDM3, humming. Turn off the delay. Turn off the reverb. Go to legato. Put it on 1/8, and also turn down the release. And then you have this. Not that great, not that interesting, but it's just a support lead. And then here's the main lead. Alright, so this is the Sturm Patch. Let's just go over it real quick, I guess. So I think it's just a regular saw wave, just the initial saw wave. I put a sync on there. Right, so if you go sync, this is what it originally looks like, and then when you turn up the sync, it kind of makes it faster, right? It gives it more cycles. And then I have a LFO on it, LFO1. This is the curve. This is the rate 1/8 envelope, so it only goes once. Even if I hold a note, it only goes through this loop once. If you put on trigger, it's gonna repeat every time, so it'll sound like this instead of. And then off means every time you press off, it's just going to start wherever it left off. So if it stops here, next time the note plays, it's going to start from here, then it stops here next time, right? So it's not going to be the same starting point every time. So envelope, you make sure you do that. Take the LFO tool, put it on sync, and then I have it going backwards. So it's at a high rate, and then it slows down as the lead goes. So there's that. That's how you do that. This is just a regular plain patch. Nothing interesting here. I could turn up this to detune. I guess we can do that. That's not bad. Maybe I'll change that. I never tried that before. You can turn the detune off. I mess with that. But anyway, that's not important for this. Noise. Clean white noise, right? So this is what it sounds like. This is my own clean white noise. I just took my own sample, my own noise. I already EQ'd it myself. It's just literally white noise at the top end. The ones they have a lot of low end. Even this bright white, like there's a lot of that low end to it. And like you could pitch this up, I mean it's just annoying, right? It just takes too long. Just put your own clean white noise here. You know, I hit this preset every time. I don't touch anything else, and it's done. And then in effects, I have a hyper dimension to make it a little bit wider. So I could put this here too, and then make it wider as it goes. I'll probably mess with that later. Distortion, just some distortion, a little bit on the drive. Multiband compression, I literally just click multiband and turn up the gain. And then EQ, just a little bit of a notch right there in the middle of the band. I think that it's like 1682 hertz, and it's up by 3.3 dB. and that's the lead. And then together, I process them together. Here's the reverb and delay. I'll go over that in a second. Let me just go over the end processing and then go back here just to get these things out of the way. So here's the EQ, just kind of a liberal slope right here, and then get rid of the low end, nothing else there. Another OTT after the reverb, right? So the other OTT was before the reverb. I have another OTT after the reverb to make it kind of come out even more, to compress that reverb a little bit more. Dry wet's down to 25%. And then saturator, just turn up the drive a little bit, and then an overdrive to distort it. I turn down the dry wet. I think it's normally at 50. I brought it down to 22%. And then another EQ, get rid of the low end again, more steeper of a curve. And then get rid of a little bit of the highs here, and then a little bit more high end right there. Okay. And then LFO tool, dry wet's at 90%. And then this is the curve, right? So it's at a fourth rate. And then it's when the kick is here, it's pretty much empty, and then it kind of swoops in as the 1/4 of the bar goes. So that's the processing on the leads. Let's go over the reverb, right? Reverb and delay. So a lot of people ask how to get like that big room sound, or like the trap sound, how to make this lead sound full, and they want to like process the crap out of the music. They think like it's, oh, if I have to add an OTT and a saturator and 7 other OTTs after that, and then distortion or whatever, and all that's good, all that's cool, and it'll make your sound, it might sound better, it might sound like shit, but the way you fill up space is the reverb, right? That's how and there's empty spots, there's reverb that kind of fills it in and it sounds good to the ear. The problem is if you don't sidechain the reverb, or you don't automate the reverb, and it's just going the whole time, it's going to drown everything, even when the lead is playing, which you don't want, right? You want the lead to be clean, and then you want the reverb to just be those empty spots for the most part. And the way you can do that is you can sidechain your reverb, or you can automate the reverb. In this song, I automated it. Automating is a little bit better. It's cleaner, because you can really precisely know, I can tell it exactly how I want it to curve and how I want it to do whatever. If you sidechain, it's not as good, right? It's not as clean. And then I'll show every way of doing it right now. So I'll play this again. I'm going to turn off, or actually I'll go over it first, and then I'll show you how they sound in different ways. So this is the way I did it. So it's automated. So what I did was you create a chain. So here's the chain. I have a dry signal, which is just the lead, nothing else. Just a dry signal, the lead. Here's a delay at 100% wet, dry wet 100%. And then here's the reverb. Okay, so that's those. So, and then all three together, right? They play together. So the dry signal, nothing on there. It's just dry. Delay is this Ableton echo delay, 1/16 on the right, 1/16 on the left. It's a little bit offset by 4%, so you kind of hear them at different times. Makes it sound a little bit wider. Feedback is at 49%, and then it's pretty much a band pass right here, right? I got rid of the highs, got rid of the lows, just to make it not so that it doesn't mess with the main lead. Doesn't really take up a lot of space. And then I have this utility here, which is just volume gain automation, right? Just lowering and raising the volume, and I'll go over that in a second. Reverb is dry wet 100%, 1.84 seconds. Dip a little bit of the high. I think this is just literally the audio effect. Ableton just literally grab it and toss it in there. I don't think there's anything I changed. Maybe the decay time. And then in terms of the EQ, just get rid of the lows, and then boost a little bit of the highs, and then again another volume automation thing. And then the rest of these were those effects I talked about. They apply to all three. So they're at the end of the chain. They're doing it. Those effects are working for all three of these. So it's not just for the reverb or whatever. Okay, so I'm only gonna talk about the reverb. The delay is the same exact concept. So there's nothing new about it. Whatever I talk about in the terms of delay, it applies. I mean, in terms of reverb, it applies to the delay. Same effect, same automation. It's the same thing. So what I did was, you could automate the dry wet, right? You could go in there and then start automating this dry wet signal. So you click it in Ableton, and then it shows up here, and then you start throwing in your curves, right? Let's say you want it like this or something. All right, come on, like this, right? Problem with this is that, let's say I want this one to be, let's say I listen to this and then I feel like, okay, 0% is too little. I don't hear any reverb. It sounds too dry. It doesn't sound good. I want to raise all of these from 0% up, right? So then I can select all, right? And then grab this, take it up to maybe 20%, 30%. And I go like, all right, I'm gonna try 30%. Let's see how that sounds, right? And then 5 minutes later, I realize 30% is way too much. I need to lower this. So now I select all and I start dragging down, and everything goes down. But I don't want everything to go down, right? I only wanted these bottom points to go down. I haven't figured out a way to fix that. Maybe you guys know a way to do that, but a way to work around it is you put a macro. So you go to your chain, you click this map button, or you click this little button right here, this upside down play button. I don't know what this is. Upside down U or E, sideways E, whatever this is. You click this, and you click map, and then whatever you want to automate, you're gonna start macroing. So I want to automate the volume of the reverb, not the dry wet. I still want it to be 100% dry wet. Right? Other people, you might not have it in the chain. You might have it just regularly out on its own until you put like 20% dry wet. But for this, since it's in my it's like a send, it's like a bus. I want it to be 100% the whole time. So I macro the volume. So I click this volume button, and then it says unmap. It should say map for you. It says unmap for me because I've already mapped it. It's already there. But see how these other ones all say map, so you could map it like that. And then I have this one, same thing. I click this volume and I press unmap or map. Now, when you go up here, you'll see everything that's mapped. So it says chain, volume, reverb, mixer, right? So negative 6.5 and then 0. So what that means is every time this one right here, so it's this one, macro, well, I don't know why I have two of them. So this bottom part right here, right? So it's fading up here. So my volume is at, so my reverb and my delay, both of these are macro to the same thing. It's at full volume. So whatever I set this to, so in terms of my reverb mixer, it's 0 dB. So my reverb 100% wet is going to be at 0 dB at these points. And then this is the lowest point. It's going to be at negative 6.5 dB, right? So over here, it's at negative 6.5 dB. And then over here, it's raising up slowly. And then in this section, it's at 0 dB. And then the delay is the same thing, but it's different values. Negative 21 dB. So over here, it's negative 21. And then negative 12 over here. All right, so basically it's louder here and lower here, right? Whenever there's melody playing, whenever I have the melody playing, I want the reverb to be as low as I want, with like just that it's barely there, so that it's not so that the song isn't dry, but it's not loud enough where it's taking up space, right? It's making it sound drowned out. And then whenever there's no melody, I want the reverb to be as loud as possible, that it still sounds good, so that it fills up that empty space. Same thing with the delay. But obviously not too loud. But I still wanted the delay lower volume than the reverb. Now, remember before how I said if I wanted to change my dry wet 10%, 30%, it moves everything at once. This way, if you macro it, I can literally, if I feel like negative 6.5 dB is too loud, I want to lower it. I don't have to touch this automation. I just click this and I put negative 8. So now everything here is negative 8. Everything here is negative 8. Everything here is negative 8. And this part is still 0. Still 0. Right? Still 0. And if I think 0 is too loud or too low, right? Let's say it's too low and I want to raise it. I can put it to 3 dB. So now only this is 3 dB. Much easier way to fix your settings. Fix your automation settings if you change your mind later on and stuff. So that's basically what it is. All you do is whenever there's no lead sound, you just kind of swoop this in during the end of that, right? The end, right? There's still some noise here from the lead. Just that last part, you kind of swoop it in, and then when there's no melody playing, you have this little thing right here. No melody playing, a little bit here. No melody playing, it's getting louder right here, right? Now, this part, this is where this one comes in. Where is it? This volume automation. So that's another one. It's this one right here. So the point of this one is to every time the stab hits, so every time this noise hits, I wanted there to be no reverb whatsoever. I want it to be as clean as possible. So the way you do that is, if I didn't have this, the reverb would just, I could automate it down to 0, but my 0 is not actually 0, right? My 0 was negative 6.5. So you would still hear reverb here, just at negative 6.5 dB. So I put another one and then put it to negative infinity, and then every time I drop it, there's no reverb here. So you'll hear the reverb go away. So that's how the reverb is done here. And then same thing, just this is kind of a tedious method, right? Because you have to go in every single note individually and then adjust it. So it can get kind of annoying, especially if you change a note later on or something. You could put a compressor. This is how most people probably do it. They put a compressor, hit sidechain, and then go to like lead 1, for example, and make sure there's no reverb on your actual lead, right? So like you can go pre-effects to make sure, and then now and then drop this down, put this all the way up, put this attack down, lower the release, I guess. And now it's kind of the same thing, right? I'll turn these all the way up. So now these automations are not turned off, so now everything's at full volume, but I have a reverb sidechain. It'll sound similar, but not as clean. I gotta do the same with the decay, yeah, the delay, I mean. All right, so it's on both now. So it doesn't swoop in as cleanly. It doesn't get rid of it as nicely. Kind of clicks to a little bit, but for the most part, it's good enough. Especially like in the beginning of your production process, when you're just trying to like figure out your melody and you keep changing the melody. Obviously, you're not going to go in there one by one every single time and adjust your reverb. That's going to be extremely annoying and a massive waste of time. So you could use this compressor method in that beginning, and then once you have the melody down, get rid of the compressor and then manually put in your automation stuff. That's how I do it, and I think that's the best way of doing it. So in the beginning, when you're just figuring out the melody, you're still trying to figure out what to do, just put a sidechain compressor like this, audio from, and then lead 1 or lead 2 or whatever your melody is. Make sure there's no reverb on the lead again, because if there is reverb, then it's going to duck it even when there's reverb. And then lower the threshold, increase the ratio, and then just, adjust it to taste however you like it. And then once you have the melody down, delete it. Let's delete this one too. And then start doing your automation, right? So I already have my automation. But as you heard on that sidechain one, it didn't get rid of the reverb in this section, right? Because there's no melody playing. So I could do like a ghost note, right? Where I put this melody here, and then I mute it. And I mute this sound here, so there's no sound playing, but there is a melody. So the compressor will think that there's a melody there, and then it'll dip it there too. You could do that as well, but then that's just an extra step that you have to do. But it's possible, right, to do it that way. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how they sound without the automation, and then how it sounds with the automation. So I'm gonna turn the automation off, turn them at full volume. Actually, I won't do full volume because nobody would have it at full volume. I'll do it here. I'll do this one -6, -6. Yeah, -6 is probably good for both. I think should be fine. And then I'll turn on so I'll let it play out for the first 8 bars, and then once it gets here and it's about to loop, I'll turn it on. So you'll hear, so the beginning is the reverb, just no sidechain to it, just all over the place, and then you'll hear it cleaner the second time. Popping bottles Popping bottles All right, so I'm sure you guys heard that. You guys probably heard those little swoops that happen here. That wasn't happening in the first time. And then also on the first time, I don't know if you guys heard the delay. It was kind of annoying. It was there the whole time. Not really happening when you have this thing going on here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the main difference there. It just sounds cleaner the second time. I'll show this part too of the drop. So there's a little bit of a little like stutter effect here. All that is just an auto pan, 80% dry wet, rates at 116. Press this invert button, which makes it sound a little bit off. So it's not exactly on the bars. It's a little bit off, and it makes it sound cool. And then the shape is at 100%, so it's hard cutting every time. It's not smoothly going in and out, right? So if I do this. This is how it is normally. It's a little bit off, and then it's hard cutting it. It makes it sound a little bit better, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. It's kind of a simple one, just mostly talking about reverb automation. You guys can try that out if you want, and then if you have any comments, questions, put them in the comments. And then we'll try to upload another tutorial sometime this week. I don't know on what yet. If you guys want an idea on something, you can again drop it. Try to be like a specific. If you do give a comment, don't just put like mixing, because that's kind of hard to just. It's gonna take a long time. I might do one like that, like a long one, but no. For now, I want to do some short ones, some quick short ones, so that there's more uploaded. So just put like a specific thing if you want. And then if you guys can go on our SoundCloud too, soundcloud.com/JERMUK music, and then listen to any of the songs there, and then ask to hear like how something was done in that track, and I can try to do a tutorial on that too. All right, so that's it for today, and then again we'll set up the Patreon, set up the sample packs, sound banks, all that stuff soon. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.